Are your students running the room, or are you? If that question makes you pause, this video could change everything. Kellie Grant has 24 years of teaching experience. She's taught over 1,500 students, and she shares the truth about how to have a calm class that runs easily but is still super fun. These are the 5 secrets of classroom management, Team G style.
All of a sudden, you start being the person that's remembered for something. We take care of each other. I can do this to an entire gym of kids. They will all stop talking. And I don't want teachers' college units. That's not what I'm saying. And you think to yourself, how many times can I say the same thing? They will waste the entire day telling me everything that ever happened to their cat. Guys, I don't need that help. I get paid for that job. You're gonna have 5 happy kids and 20 ticked off kids. Yes, they're gonna burn their finger, and yes, nobody's gonna care that much. And then it just turns into the Hunger Games and it sucks. Does lady have a bit of a problem? No. I want your angry moms to know never. A trick that has always been good and helped me with personal boundaries with parents, you're gonna be great. So you're stuck and you're tired and you're like, did I make the wrong career choice? But you didn't. You know what you're doing. You have 2 degrees if you're working in Ontario. And you should know that number 1 thing you need to do is plan. You need to prepare. And I know that sounds stupid, and I don't want teachers' college like units. That's not what I'm saying. I'm thinking to myself, what kind of a person am I? What's gonna push my buttons? If the morning is your number 1 work time, then give them the heavy stuff in the morning because you're matching you. You have to be happy too so that you can keep functioning. If the afternoon is your time, then put all your heavy stuff in the afternoon to match you. Now, everybody's gonna tell you that you have to do certain things at certain times. That is not true. You have to prepare for you and them, but you also have to make it through the day. So what I'm talking about here is plan as much as you can. And have a slideshow so that it's visual and that it's also that you are reading it out loud so it's auditory. There will be hints for every kind of kid. Be as planned as possible. Say you plan you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, and something happens on Monday, so you don't have a supply comes. Then you have something to put into there because you've already planned Tuesday. Plan a bit ahead. Be prepared. And I know that sounds dumb because of course you're going to be prepared, but I mean, sometimes you're a little tired, you're not prepared, you didn't really plan, it was a busy weekend, then that week always sucks. Just get prepared. That's number 1. Number 2, this is key. You need a stop signal that has many layers and it is quiet. I can't stand stop signals that are clapping and shaking and all the jumping. You're trying to calm them down. When you do all that clapping, it just makes them hyper. My number 1 stop signal is just like if you're listening, point up. And you think to yourself, how many times can I say the same thing? A lot of times. But this one has point up. You can go 2. They should mimic me. And then it stops. I stop talking completely and I get to 5. And if you're not talking by 5, I'm taking stuff that you like. For example, I'm taking team points. I'm taking some 5 minutes of whatever your favorite thing is so that you tune in. And then I make it so it's a community event. If you are not listening, the kids know that they are allowed to tap a kid on the shoulder that's not paying attention. They're not allowed to yell, guys, I don't need that help. I get paid for that job. The other kid doesn't need to do that job. I just need everybody to listen. And I don't want them to be making noises while they're trying to listen. So don't clap, don't snap, make it a silent stop signal and start on the first day of school and don't change it 15 million times. Pick one and stick with it the entire year. I can do this to an entire gym of kids. They will all stop talking because half of them I will have taught their brother, sister, their cousin, whoever, and they know the stop signal because they've been around me long enough. It works fast, it works clean, and if a kid taps another kid on the shoulder, tap, not hit. Everybody's tuned in very quickly. And then if you're really in trouble and they're really not doing that, instead of that altogether, I just tell them to touch an outside wall. Then they leave their desk, they're not playing with crap in their desk, they're not talking to their friend. I have a couple of kids who can't handle being beside a specific person. They're not allowed to be on the same spot on the wall. And then everybody's gathered, they're all facing in, and stuff will stop and you can give them directions. We usually start our day like that. Touch an outside wall, this is what's happening today. Here's where we're going, go get done, stop talking to me. Okay, this is going to make some people very sad, especially if you cricketed 400 different things for your little groups and you call them tribes and you made them a tiki hut or whatever you did. Don't separate them into different groups. You are one group. This class is Team G. I have many Team Gs that have come and gone. Team G is one specific cohesive team. And if we rise as a team or we fall as a team, we do everything together. Because if you take them and put them into little groups, you're gonna have 5 happy kids and 20 ticked off kids, and you're gonna never have them all. I have all of them most of the time because they want stuff. And the things that you give them for being Team G is you give them points. Points are free. You can make like 5 million at a time if you feel like it. One team, not 5 teams, not 2 teams, not one grade versus the other. Stick with one team, because when you build a team together, you can go places, you can go to assemblies, you can remind them as a team, we act like this, and use that language. We do this here. We do this on Team G. We take care of each other. Every time we end up with a new kid, I say, tell the new guy or new girl what they need to know about our team. And it's always, we work together, we take care of each other. We usually get some Jolly Ranchers. They always say something. I like Jolly Ranchers. Anyway, just stick with one team. It's way too hard to separate them into little groups. And then it just turns into the Hunger Games and it sucks. Don't do that. Number 4, you have to know yourself very well to do this job. Especially if you're an intermediate teacher, you have to be honest and you have to be true to who you are. So you have to know your personal boundaries and your personal triggers. I know that I personally can't handle a huge amount of extra noise because I wear hearing aids. And I can't handle the amount of extra noise that it comes with a class when they're off shuffling, doing little shuffly things. So my whole entire day is set up around working this into a hearing environment that I can be successful in. And most people, unless I tell them, don't even know about the hearing aids because I've set up my life and my classroom within these boundaries. Also, this is like mind-blowing to me when this actually came into my head. Don't talk to kids in the hall. When I say don't do stuff in the hall, that does not mean talk to kids quietly in the hall if they've ticked you off. Not the same thing. What I mean is when in the whole entire zoo of the school is entering the building and people are pulling off their snow pants and whatever, and the kid comes up to you and goes, my mom wrote you a note. That's not where you do it. You say, we have a plan for that. Go put it on my desk. That's what I mean. Don't deal with stuff in the hall means in the morning is not the time to have a chat about eggs and about your cat and about your mom writing me a note. We talk about it in the classroom. That's what I'm talking about. Don't collect things in the hall. Don't deal with stuff in the hall. That just turns into a bottleneck at the door. You come in, you're expected to sit down, you're expected to fill out your agenda or do whatever we're doing in bell work. Don't deal with stuff in the hall. On top of all that, you figuring out your boundaries, you figure out what basically triggers you or ticks you off, and then set it up so that they don't do those things. And I know that sounds dumb and you're like, what? Of course that's what you should do. There's a difference between, of course that's what you should do, and knowing I hate agenda notes at 3 o'clock. I don't want your angry mom's note at 3 o'clock. I want your angry mom's note never, but I really don't want it at 3 o'clock. I want it at 9. So we, as a group, do everything that relates to agendas and home and parent communication as soon as the day starts. They come in, they're expected, it says on the bell work board, check your agenda, see if you have any notes, see if you have anything signed. It's expected to land on this desk. I don't want them to bring it to me. That's also irritating to me and goes against my personal boundaries. I don't want something shoved in my face. I don't like that. So I make sure that that is woven into the culture of my room. Make it so that that is a clear expectation. Clear expectations and boundaries will make you have a great time. This class, they're a lot and I love them, and they're more than I'm used to because I'm used to being an intermediate teacher and I've moved on to junior. And the first thing I put into place was, I like you too. We can tell stories at this time. Because they will waste the entire day telling me everything that ever happened to their cat and we will get nothing done. A boundary, we need to put it at this time. This is when we talk about cats. It sounds very like regulated and kind of like, does this lady have a bit of a problem? No, I just know what makes me grumpy and I try to avoid those things so I'm not grumpy at them. One last thing about boundaries. When you are writing a parent email, a boundary to me is when you are writing the parent email, make sure you are explaining what's going on. You make sure you communicate as much as possible because that's what you're actually supposed to do. It's supposed to be a partnership between you and the mom and dad. A trick that has always been good and helped me with personal boundaries with parents is making sure that I'm telling you what happened and I'm not expecting you to do anything at home. I say it specifically in the email. I don't expect you to do anything. I'm just letting you know. So then I am respecting their boundaries, that they don't want to take school stuff at home and fix what has happened at school that's irritating to them. But it's also they need to know in case it shows up on the report card that the kid hasn't listened in 6 weeks. So boundaries, know what makes you grumpy and figure out how to get that to not happen. Okay, number 5 tip. This one, it's good if you're, especially if you're checking this out because you're about to cry and choose a job with a cubicle. Don't choose a cubicle. It sucks. It's boring. You don't need to choose cubicle. What you need to do is plan as many fun things as you can handle. And you're like, holy God, I can barely handle them right now. I know. I get that. But what I'm saying is when you do stuff that is fun and engaging, like for example, for science, you build something, you buy yourself a whole bunch of masking tape and collect newspapers like you mean it. Go and have a student vote and you think, I don't have enough time for this. It's so much extra work. And yeah, it is a lot of extra work, but all of a sudden you start being the person that's remembered for something. You start being the person whose brother or sister says, yeah, I can't wait for you to be in Miss Grant's class or whatever, because she does stuff. And last year at the end of the year, a kid bought me a Michael's card and said, my mom said this is for you because you use a lot of glue gun and you use a lot of glue gun glue. And I am happy to be known as the person who's using a lot of glue guns, because guess what? When they're using glue guns, yes, they're gonna burn their finger, and yes, nobody's gonna care that much, but they're doing something that is not just sitting at their desk being bored. Some of the part where the behavior happens is when they're like, oh, she's still talking, what the hell? As much fun as you can handle. So today we played, I don't know, meteors or some stupid thing for dodgeball. I didn't want to do it. 3 people had ice in the next 10 minutes, but they really wanted to play. So just let them do it sometimes. You don't have to be fun all the time. You're not here, like, as they say in the 300, I'm not here to entertain, but you are kind of here to entertain. If you want to grab them, you have to beat out the internet. You have to beat out their friend. You have to beat out their snack. You got to be fun. Try your best to think of something that you would have liked as a kid and do that thing. Do it as much as you can. And this is not to put them on the Chromebook. That is not that fun. It just makes them grumpy and weird. You do not want that. And if you're super, super stuck, and this video's not enough, the only teacher book I've read twice, in fact, honestly, if I'm gonna be honest, the only teacher book probably one of 5 books I've read in 24 years, Ron Moorish, with all due respect, will get you to where you need to be. It is the best teacher book. You're probably gonna have to work pretty hard to find it, but that guy understands the difference between discipline and punishing. And you don't want to punish anybody. You just want a floated boat. You want disciplined kids that will listen to you quickly and will stop what they're doing because you're going to be fun enough to listen to. Okay, got it. You're going to be great. Good luck.